In a world where we're fucking blessed with Alex Pereira's, Justin Gaethje's, and Charles Oliveira's, I mean, just think of some of your most entertaining fighters off the top of your head. We're also stuck with fucking balance. We get a Belal Muhammad. We get a Merab Dvalishvili, and these guys are winning, y'all. These are our champions right now. The UFC is in a pretty dark age, and I'm going to be giving you guys, I picked 1 or 2 fighters from each division besides flyweight. I just couldn't think of one who I was really sold on, but 1 or 2 fighters from each division who I think is the most boring, and we're doing this in the form of a tier list, because if you're in the S or the A tier, then you're the best of the boring. You're the best of the worst. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a kind of high finish rate. Well, I say high relatively. It's not that high, but you know what I mean. Maybe you have like a not awful finish rate. Maybe you have like a good personality. Maybe once in a while you'll put on like a fight of the night or a banger in the cage, you know? And if you're in C and D, then fuck. You're sold to a feature bout of the Apex, buddy. You are awful to watch inside and outside the cage. So basically our first pick, we're going to be starting with Leon Edwards. I am going to go on a limb here and say that this guy is the most boring fighter at welterweight. Why, right? Because we have Belal, and I know that that's everybody's favorite pick to kind of just shit on. And don't worry, he's on this list, and we're going to get to him. Edwards is a point fighter. You know what I mean? He has a very technical style. It's just so boring. And this whole headshot dead, bro, headshot dead, like, it just got nailed into the ground. At the time, it was super fucking cool, and I think a lot of people, you know, Usman was such a great champ, and I think a lot of us didn't appreciate it at the time. There were a lot of people that were happy about Edwards getting this win, but God, he was just a bad person to have as a champion. You know, especially in welterweights where you have a bunch of prospects that are rising up really fast, and like, we're finally getting a bunch of new names, and now we're going to start seeing them kind of matched up against each other. And then you have at the heap of the division, Edwards, who wants to fight fucking Jorge Masvidal, Gilbert Burns. I want Jorge Masvidal. I want Gilbert Burns, bro. No, it's just fun. It was horrible for the division. He's inactive. And the thing is that, like, he doesn't even try to promote himself. You know, you don't even fucking hear from this guy until literally like the final 2 weeks before the fight, and then all of a sudden you're getting all the press release and all that shit, and it's just like, where were you? You know what I mean? And I don't know, just the inactivity and him trying to have some personality even though it's really not there. Like, it's just very reliant on the headshot dead thing, and like, again, it was cool at the time, but Edwards, we're going to put in C. He has a very boring style, and I think he is a really good fighter. Up next, we're going to be doing Movsar Evloev from the featherweight division, the only featherweight I got here. What are we going to do with this guy? Okay, because I feel like his fight against Arnold Allen, you know, it was pretty fun. He had a pretty fun fight against Diego Lopez. I understand that Diego Lopez, like, it's really hard to have a boring fight against him. You know what I mean? But his style, again, I think he's worthy of being in, like, that top 5 to 10 range. Like, he's a good fighter. I just, like, if this guy becomes champion, we're fucked. We're fucked, dude. Because, like, there's just nothing to this guy, you know? Nobody's fucking sitting and waiting unless you're from the guy's damn home city, home country, whatever the fuck. Nobody's listening to this guy's interviews. Nobody's excited for a Movsar Evloev fight unless the opponent you care about. Like, Arnold Allen, we cared about him, you know? Dan Ige, we care about him. Diego Lopez, we care about him. So it makes you a bit invested in those kinds of fights. And Sterling, like, the fact that Sterling was one of the most hated guys on the roster, and now he's fighting Evloev, and people are rooting for him. This guy turned Aljo babyface, bro. That's how boring this fucker is, bro. So we're going to put Evloev in the D tier. You know, I understand that he could put on some good fights, and, like, of course it's possible for him to get a finish, but he literally has no finishes in the UFC. All of them are outside the damn company that he got in the regional scene, or, you know, before he got in. So it's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? So he's going in the D tier. No finishes in the UFC. No personality. The only reason you're excited for his fights are on the other end. So yeah, I think D tier is pretty worthy. So moving on to the only rep I got from the lightweight division, we're going to be doing Mateusz Gamrot. 13 out of 24 of his wins are finishes. So, you know, 50-something percent. Not awful, especially compared to a lot of these guys on this list. But Gamrot, man, what is there to Gamrot? You know, because that Dan Hooker fight, what I will say, I'm going to start by, you know, I'll glaze a little bit. Gamrot actually had a really fun fight against Hooker, and he said, like, going into the fight that he wanted to prove people wrong. He said that he doesn't like these fucking boring allegations, which were absolutely correct. I mean, before that fight, definitively one of the more just not interesting fighters on the whole roster, man, you know? And you know he's not bad, but a bit of a fluky fluke. You're looking at how he gets his biggest wins, and you're like, you know, split decisions, opponent gets fucking injured. And don't get me wrong, like, he does have good wins and some good names, but, like, a lot of them, you know, they got, like, these weird asterisks next to him, you know? So that's a whole thing. And then going back to the Hooker fight, he did say he wanted to go out there. He was sick of the allegations. He wanted to put in a fun fight, and he did. That was fight of the night. It was super entertaining. It was a really close fight. Some people thought Gamrot won. Some people thought Hooker won. And, like, it was entertaining. And Gamrot really fucking got in the pocket with him. He exchanged, like, he got after him on the feet and, like, didn't just completely spam takedowns. And, like, I really appreciated that from Gamrot as someone who does not fuck with him, you know? I'm not really excited for most Gamrot fights, but because you just know what you're gonna get. You know that he's just gonna try and hold you down. He has no problem doing so. There's nothing great about Gamrot, you know? He's good on the ground and he's kind of good on the feet, but he's not great on the ground. He's not great on the feet, you know what I mean? And that's what's earned him, you know, that's how he keeps beating some of these bigger names. That's how he's earned a spot in the top 10, but he got after it against Hooker and he paid the price. He went out there and tried, and then he's probably gonna be like, nope, I'm never fucking doing that again. I lost the first time I tried to make a goddamn fun for him. So that might be the only fun part we're getting from Gamrot, guys. Gamrot, we're gonna put in the C tier. There's just not a lot to Gamrot. He's not like completely just, I hate watching him. You know, occasionally you'll get a Gamrot banger, occasionally you'll get a Gamrot finish. I mean, but I say occasionally, fucking, please take this lightly, y'all. The most boring fighters tier list. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna put Gamrot on the C tier. There's just not much. So moving on to Belal Muhammad, the other welterweight we got here. Now, I'm gonna put him, okay, I don't like Belal, right? But it seemed like I was kind of defending him earlier with the Leon shit. Don't worry, like, he's still worthy of being on this list. But I just don't think he's as bad. Like, at least Belal, like, kind of has his, like, own fucking vibe. You know what I mean? He's not just copy and paste. He's not reliant on some fucking flash KO. At least he's true to his fucking gun. And at least he's active. At least he wants to fucking fight. And at least he wants to fight, like, big names. Like, immediately after he won the belt, he knew he was going to get Shavkat. He wanted Shavkat and JDM or fucking Usman. I mean, none of us wanted to see that Usman fight, but you know what I mean? And, like, Belal was open to pretty much anybody, which I like to see, and he wanted to be fucking active, which I like to see, and all this is so refreshing after you get fucking Leon, who wants Masvidal and Kobe and Burns, and he's like, you know, Shavkat and all them, they can go fight 2 more times, and it's just like, he didn't even want to give Belal the shot, you know, and Leon had to deal with the same shit to get to the title shot as Belal did, but then as soon as he won the belt, he sold out, and that's why Leon is in fucking C, and I'm gonna put Belal in A, and y'all are gonna fucking hate me for it. But don't, man. He's still boring as shit. This guy has 6 finishes out of 24 wins. That's a 25% finish rate, all right? That is bad. That's bad, you know? And his only real notable finish in the last few years being Sean Brady. That was a great performance by Belal, but, like, couldn't even knock him down. Couldn't even knock him down. You know what I mean? So again, as much as it was a good win, like, Belal is a decision machine. Most of his fights are pretty boring. I actually thought the fight against Edwards was actually kind of entertaining. I don't know if y'all agree with me on that one or not, but again, the problem with Belal is that, like, he's beating so many good names, so it's getting even hard. Like, people are hating him more and more because, like, you just can't get rid of him, you know? Beating Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, Damian Maia, Diego Lima. Like, it's just, he's racked up so many good wins, and he actually has a really good resume, and I think that just makes people hate him worse because now he's fighting Shavkat. And if he beats Shavkat, people are either going to hate him more than they ever have before, or they actually might start fucking with him because they realize, like, damn, he's really just beating everybody. So, again, I want to preface that, like, I'm not a Belal fan. I'm never really excited for a Belal fight, but I sure is, like, I at least respect it. I respect it. At least he's doing his own fucking thing, and he's not, like, trying to converge to, like, be somebody else, and he's fucking active as a fighter, and he wants to fight big names. He's going to go in the A tier. He sucks, but he's not awful. Does that even make sense? Does that even fucking make sense? I don't know. So anyways, so moving on, we have our representative from the middleweight division. We got Israel Adesanya. So this one honestly feels like a crime to me because I'm not like a big Izzy guy, you know, but to even have, I just needed to pick someone from middleweight. I was thinking about, like, fucking Brendan Allen, Roman Dolidze, or maybe like Sean Strickland, but I don't even think those guys are really boring. So it's kind of hard to say. Like, they could have boring moments, but it's like, I can't really call them like boring fighters. So I had to go Adesanya, but it's the same thing with Adesanya. Like, I think during his title run, God, we had to sit through some fucking bullshit sometimes, dude. It was fucked, but I mean, I don't really think he's like a boring fighter. He has like a 65% finish rate, which is not bad at all. I just think that title reign, man, and I think people were so sick of seeing him on the screen all the time. Like, I think it just gave him like this bad rub. Personality-wise, like, sometimes it could be so cringy, but what I can say is that he does have aura. Even after, like, losing the belt twice, like, he does have still a bit of aura, which, you know what? I think that's a testament to, like, just Izzy as the character, as the man, whatever the fuck as a whole, you know? Because even after all the losses, like, I feel like by now, like, look at Volk. Volk was on a fucking tear, and Volk's my favorite fighter. And now everyone seems like he's, like, completely drained. He's completely drained to aura, you know? But Izzy for some reason still has it, and I just think that's a testament to like, I just think he has more so of a personality. I think he tries to like build up the fights, but then hidden in there, you get the Yoel Romero fight shit, all right? You get the Marvin Vettori fight. You get the Jared Cannonier fight, you know? Don't get me wrong, he's put on some absolute wars, you know? We got that Calvin Gastelum fight, which was great. We got the flashy finish over Whitaker. We got the Paulo Costa win, which was entertaining at the time, but it's kind of aging really bad. But he got the second win over Pereira, which was fucking crazy. And like, so don't get me wrong, like there's good wins, there's good finishes, there's really flashy moments, and his personality is a draw? Question mark? I can't even say that because it's like I feel like everybody fucking hates him. So like, but I don't know. So no, I know there's Izzy fans, y'all. And again, like I started this one by saying like this one just feels like a crime to put it in here because I think Izzy, I can't call him a boring fighter. I don't think he is. I think he's had really boring fights, but he's also had good fights and he also has had good finishes. So it's like, I'm going to put him in the S tier for sure. Because, again, it's just weird even calling him a boring fighter. I don't really think he is. Just someone who has had some really fucking boring performances. But he has good shit to balance it out, in my opinion. So, anyway, so moving on. Up next, 1 to 2 representatives from the fucking bantamweight division. And, unfortunately, he's the champion, Merab Dvalishvili on here. So, what are we going to do with Merab? Because, honestly, dude, one of my favorite fights and comebacks of all time. I'm not saying top 10 or anything, but dude, his fight against Moraes was super fun. Even his fight against Cejudo, I mean, it ended up the third round ended up being pretty much domination, but that was a relatively like kind of entertaining fight. How do you feel about fighting Newmar? Hey guys, whatever Dana tell me, I'm so happy, guys. I work so hard, like, you know. Not the best on the mic, kind of relies a bit on the, you know, the skits and all that shit. And inside the cage, again, like I was saying with the Moraes fight, you know, kind of the Cejudo fight, like once in a while, he can have an entertaining fight, but for the most part, he's a decision machine. 4 out of 18 of his wins are via finish, so he has a very, very, very fucking low finish rate, probably, I think, the worst on this list, but... And now he's the champion of the division, which honestly just hurts because bantamweight is so stacked and it's full of like a lot of, I mean, Merab is really skillful, you know, his striking is, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, honestly, he is deserving of being like championship level. He's a great fighter. He can get the fuck after it. He genuinely has some of the best cardio I've ever seen. He's just a machine. And like, I respect it, you know? So I'm going to put Merab in A because I know that he can have the occasional banger, and I know that, like, just seeing his cardio on display is kind of entertaining in its own right because you're just like, Jesus Christ, like, who's going to gas this guy out? Like, who's going to beat this guy? You know what I mean? You know, not the best personality, but at least he's fucking trying. So we have, from the light heavyweight division, this was also kind of a tough one to kind of pick, but I picked somebody. I went with Aleksander Rakic, who was fighting this weekend. Now... Similar to Izzy in the way where it's like, I don't even really think he's that boring of a fighter because he has like a 70% finish rate. He looked great in his last fight against Yuri. That first round, he looked like the best fucking light heavyweight on the planet. And like, that was a really fun fight. That was fight of the night at UFC 300. A night, you know what I mean? A night full of super good finishes or fights. So it's just like, I think it says a lot. Unfortunately, though, that was his last fight. We got to talk about what went on before that. He's been really racking up some decisions lately. And I get that Rakic is a very technical fighter. It could be a bit more slowed or less flashy than I feel like a lot of people are kind of wanting to see. But, you know, it's just like, he's really technical. It's just that personality-wise, there's not a lot there. It could be a bit slow at times. He's had some pretty fucking boring fights, which is unfortunate because he is good. You know, he's worthy of that top 5 spot. He's one of the elite in the division. I don't know, it can be a bit of a bot at times. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not a lot to him at times. So we're going to put Rakic in the B tier because there's always the possibility of him being able to get the finish, but only 2 in the UFC. That kind of hurts him. And it's not his fault that he has a more technical style. Like, you know, whatever you got to do to fucking win, but it's just like, sometimes it's just not the most fun to watch. Up next, we have from the heavyweight division, we got Marcin Tybura. Heavyweight's kind of a hard one to pick because you know that any one of them could take each other's lights out for the most part. Like, look at somebody like Aspinall. I don't see anybody in that division beating Aspinall except maybe Jones, but he's about to fucking dip out of here. So there's really nobody I could see beating Aspinall, but I know that there's a fucking chance because it's heavyweight. They're big fucking boys. They get after it and they're swinging, and like even like a number 10, you know, could take out a number 1. It just MMA math makes no sense when it gets to heavyweights, and like a lot of them do go out there and they get the finishes, so it's kind of hard. But I picked Marcin Tybura, man. It's just like, what the fuck? When we had Tybura versus Spivak 2, first of all, the fact that we got that as a rematch, as a main event, dude, that was a main event. That was the night like Lucas Tracy retired. I remember because it was just such a bad fucking card, and then that happened on top of it, and it's just like, and then we had this main event. I mean, these guys, I almost put Sergey on here as well, but Sergey won that fight, so I'm going to spare him. So we got Tybura. Like, Tybura is just, finish rate not bad. He has 16 out of 25 of his wins being via finish. Be honest with me, guys. Have you ever fucking listened to a Marcin Tybura interview? And if you have, how was it? Did you enjoy it? Did you fucking learn something? Did you really get some shit out of that? Did it really make you more hyped for the fight? This fucking Apex main event as, dude, okay, he's just one of the blobs we got going on right now, all right? There's no personality to him. Once in a while, he can get a finish, and that kind of makes it intriguing, but there's just nothing else to him. He is just the literal definition of Apex main eventer. I'm fucking sorry, I don't mean to disrespect. He can eat my ass up, you know what I mean? Pause. He can eat my ass up, but it's just like, I don't know. We're going to put Tybura in the C. There's just nothing. And yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Some notable mentions. I did want to add Mario Bautista on here. I just wanted to go on some rant about Bautista, but I realized it was more so just because of the Aldo performance, so I didn't include him. Bautista can have some really fucking, he can have some boring fucking fights, but like, I didn't want to throw him on here because I knew it would just be me ranting about the judges and that bitch ass performance against Aldo, bro. Whatever. I'm already getting heated on it, and I'm not even including him in the list. So anyway, that was the tier list, guys. What'd you think? Do you agree with it? I mean, look at this. What is this list out of context? You know what I mean? I don't even know, dude. But thank you guys so very much for watching. Let me know if you agree, disagree, your takes in the comments below. UFC 308 is tomorrow. Super fucking excited for it. All the Smoke MMA. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support, and I'll catch you next time.